So I saw these people with their phones out looking up, and so I turn, and all of a sudden I see the entire mountain on fire. I see houses with flames, like actual houses burning on the mountain.
How is there no water in the fire hydrants? That is like so aggravating.
I like to say my soul's an asshole. Like my soul agreed for this shit because I know that I'm moving big mountains frequency-wise, like dimensions in this lifetime, and that's just my path.
If I looked at you, I couldn't necessarily see that there's something wrong going
Actually,
on.
I looked so good when I had Lyme in the beginning because I was so skinny. I was like, I looked so good that I was dying inside. Lyme was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was gift. I said that and people lost their shit. So you can talk about it again. Lyme was gift for me.
First priority should always be to change the current energetic and emotional state rather than just searching for a solution that's putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound.
You can plan all you want, and I love a good plan. I love to be organized, but the reality is that shit goes out the window.
Welcome back to the Jeremy Awakens podcast. What is up? We have a very, 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 very special guest in the building. We have the one and only Danielle Paige. And Danielle is a modern day oracle, astrologer, and spiritual teacher whose presence alone awakens hearts all over the world. A vessel of divine feminine wisdom, Danielle channels ancient truths with grounded grace, guiding thousands to remember who they truly are. Her words don't just speak, they activate your soul. So if you're ready to align with your soul's highest calling, she is the lighthouse that you've been waiting for. Danielle Paige, welcome back.
This is what you've been waiting for. Thank you so much for having me on.
How was that intro?
That was amazing. That was incredible. Yeah.
Where should we start this podcast, Danielle?
Wow. I mean, we're just seeing each other for the first time again after me moving away from here. And yeah, so it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the last time was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So you went back to California because you weren't really resonating with the Miami energy anymore.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, you were living kind of out of the way of everything.
I was. It's true. Yes. You kept telling me that. And I'm like, I hear you and I see you, but I like the view. The view was amazing.
Your place was incredible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely breathtaking. So you went back to California.
Yeah.
And that journey has brought you back to Florida, obviously, with the tragic fires that happened in the Palisades a few months ago, which, by the way, it seems like people have completely forgotten that those happened.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to happen, and that's why in the beginning I said it's not just about the first 2 weeks when everyone's dopamine was high. You know, I said this is real life, so when everyone gets back to their normal, none of us have normal. So we're just starting over, like everything. I mean, even finding an outfit to wear here. I mean, I have some dresses now I bought, but I don't have clothes, you know? Like I have some things and I'm starting my closet again, my wardrobe. And I guess I know and I understand that's so small and insignificant, but it's also my truth right now. Like that's my reality, is I don't have a lot of things right now. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So I want to know, a couple days before the fires start in LA, in the Palisades, life's completely normal.
Yes, so good. Life was so good. That's what's so crazy.
And this was the first couple days of the new year.
Yeah, it was January 7th. Yeah.
So
I had so many plans, so many things lined up for the new year.
So once you get news that these fires are coming and that you might lose your home, what is going on in your head and what are the actions that you're taking?
Yeah. So do you want the story of how it unfolded?
Yes.
Because it's pretty wild. And actually, Spirit was guiding me the whole way. And it was really beautiful, so I felt very protected. Okay, so I'll start with the dream that I had the night before. So let's back up a second, because I think this is really important if people understand the synchronicity and the timing and how everything fell into place. Ever since I moved into that place, my dog, who does have a lot of trauma, he was abused, so I'm bringing him back to life. Ever since we moved into this place, he was never good. He was sick all the time. I was up at night. I was in the emergency room at 3 a.m. constantly. He was sick both ends. Like it was a lot. It's like my baby, So I just noticed that like ever since we moved in. But this place was beautiful, so I didn't really know what was going on. Okay, but he's very in tune, like animals are. And a night before the fire, he was up all night. So I was up all night with him. And he wasn't sick, though, but he was staring at me. I have videos of it. He looked like he was possessed. And I'm like, something's not right. Like, I don't know what to do. And like, I wanted him almost to get sick so he would feel better. And he didn't. But he was just not normal. Like, it literally looked like he was possessed. So I have those videos. It's crazy. And so that night, I didn't sleep at all because I was up all night with him. And the next morning, I had to go to an appointment. I was gone. And then that night I came home and I was exhausted because I didn't sleep the night before. So I went to sleep early. I actually slept about 10 hours that night. And I woke up in the morning and my dream was so intense. And I have dreams that tell me things. This is how my awakening started at 30 years old. Like, I started seeing things. And so I woke up and I'm like, okay, something happened. And my dream was so real. And I actually saw Florida in my dream. And it was me going from place to place to place, like really frantic. But I couldn't see more, and I'm like, something's going on? Because I knew the way I felt with the dream, that something very real was happening, but I didn't know what it was, okay? So I wake up in the morning, I'm in like my robe. I just had my friend who's an interior designer come to my place, and I hired her. We were gonna get new pieces, and we moved things around. So my place, it's my dream place, by the way. I spent a year manifesting it, trying to get there. It was in the best area. I loved it so much. So I'm in my robe and I literally sat down and I'm like, I am so happy. Like, I literally said that morning. I'm so happy. My nervous system is happy. I created this. I think, like, the environment's so important to me. I love interior design as well. I used to do that. And so I was just so happy. Then I went to walk my dog and I noticed it was really windy, like abnormally windy. And I got like chills when I thought about it. Okay. But like, didn't really know anything of that. And then I'm back in the house and I just tell my team, like, listen, I'm not going to work before 10. I'm going to do my morning routine. I want to, do what I need to do. Like, these are my boundaries. I feel really good. Like, I'm just like getting everything on schedule. Okay. And then all of a sudden, Spirit impresses in me this thought and I saw this vision. And the vision was me in my closet going through one by one. And it was the energy of, you're going to have to simplify. Now, that doesn't sound bad, but the way they impressed the energy, it was like, oh my God, like this is not good. Like, it was like the fear of God, the fear of death in my body, okay? So when Spirit impresses something in our body, sometimes we know it's like a good thing, we know it's bad, right? This was like, something is not good, okay? But I didn't know what. And I saw that image, specifically me going through and it's simplifying. And I thought, well, that's weird because I'm actually really organized. I have nothing in my place that I don't like. Everything was curated. Like, I love interior design, so I didn't have a bunch of crap, right? And my closet, I just had a stylist, and everything was designed for me, altered for me because I'm super petite, so like everything fit me. So I didn't have a bunch of stuff that was like old. So I'm like, well, that's interesting. So then about probably an hour after that, I don't know the time, all of a sudden I started hearing fire engines, but like, it's LA, you hear stuff all the time. I ignored it. Then they kept coming, and they kept coming. And then I went outside of my balcony, and I looked down, and so I lived in the best area. Air One was right downstairs, like right across the way, and so I saw these people with their phones out looking up, and so I turn, and all of a sudden I see the entire mountain on fire. I see houses with flames, like actual houses burning on the mountain, because the mountains are here, and I was right in like the center of Pacific Palisades. And so I'm like, oh my God, because it was huge, and I have videos of that, pictures of that. And I didn't know what to do, and I got really scared. So I went back in, and I just sat on my couch, and I'm like, oh shit, like there's a real fire. Like, it's not in my place yet, but it's on the mountain, right? And so then I hear more fire trucks. I go back outside, and that's when I hear Spirit say, go. Now, I know for a lot of people, they're like, what does that mean? How does Spirit talk to you? Is it like you're hearing, it's this inner knowing, and it is this, they will use all your senses to get you to go, okay? Mm-hmm. And so the moment I heard that, I knew. Like, there's no messing around. You're like, oh, is that me? Is that my higher self? No. Like, when it comes through that strong, you got to go. So I immediately went in, shut the door. I went and got my dog's medicine, some dog food. I got my like supplements, something like, that I would just take. I mean, I couldn't take my whole like 5 shelves of supplements, but like my immediate stuff. I went and immediately got my passport, my birth certificate. I had money there. I got some jewelry, so I was wearing all this stuff, and I got some jewelry from my mom. And then I started just throwing some clothes in. And I'm going to tell you, the things you take when you're like in an emergency, it's the most random shit ever. Okay, like, well, I got wanted this like beautiful blue blouse. And I'm like, I barely ever wear that. Why would I take that? It's so random because you're not thinking. And I say that because I talk to other people and they're like, they took the most random stuff because your nervous system is just like, So I took the most random things. And then I take like, out of all my coat closet, I take my jacket that I walk my dog in. Like it's like 10 years old. It's like comfortable, like pajamas. And that's what I take. Not like any of my beautiful stuff. Because I'm like, oh, I'm running from a fire. I'm not going to wear my Chanel shoes. Like I'm not uninterested. Do you know what I'm saying? So I just took what's comfortable, 2 pairs of shoes. And then I went downstairs. My garage was 3 stories down. And the fire kept getting closer. And so I went downstairs. And every time I went downstairs, I took my dog. Because I was so afraid, because I knew how fast this was going to come. And my soul knew that it was going to hit my place, but like I didn't know. So every time I went downstairs, I took my dog. So I could only take 1 suitcase at a time. It was just me there, right? And I'm just trying to do everything. And my dog is now already a nervous dog, right? Is like kind of freaking out. So I give him like homeopathics. I'm like, hoping that he's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and so then I ended up putting 3 suitcases. And 1 suitcase just had my amp coil. It's a pulse electromagnetic frequency machine. And I was like, I saw it because it was out on my office floor. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to take that. Because I didn't know what to take. Because part of me was like, I'll be back, Part of me was like, oh, I'm overreacting. Like, this is obnoxious, And then part of me is like, no, you got to go. So then I'm going through my house and I'm thinking, oh my God, all my pictures, like all my memories of everything. Like, what do I even take? Like, when you're rushed, like, what do you take, right? So then I'm thinking my pictures. And then Spirit literally says to me, the memories are in your heart. And I'm like, oh my God, the memories are in my heart. I'm like, okay, like no joke, like that's what they said. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm in my closet and I look and I'm like, well, my purses aren't in my heart. So I take my purse drawer of like the really expensive ones and I take them, I throw them in a suitcase, like don't even wrap them. I just throw them all. So I got like 10 of my purses and then I left and that was it. And then it started coming down the mountain, and I am so glad I left when I did because a lot of people, I left before I was told to evacuate, and I left because of my guidance. And if I would have waited, most people, not most, but a lot of people in the Palisades, they had to run from their cars because it was so, everyone was trying to leave that you couldn't get out of there. And so they had to run from their cars. And I mean, that's so traumatizing and like this smoke everywhere. So they told me to leave immediately and I listened. And so it still took me 45 minutes to get to Santa Monica, which was an 8-minute drive, 7-minute drive. But I left early because I listened. And so I know that I was guided the whole way. Like I trusted that. So meanwhile, that night was horrible because we're watching the news. Nobody knows what's going on. It's coming down faster. You're hearing all these things. And I went to my friend's house in Hollywood. So first I was going to go to a hotel in Santa Monica, but then the winds were so bad. And he's like, just come here, get out of there, because I was calling all my friends of like, where do I go? Which house do I go to? And he was one of the furthest. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go to Hollywood. It's like far away from everywhere else. And that night was horrible. I literally sat there and I'm like, I'm about to lose everything I own. And like, how do you accept that, right? And so I'm like, this is the ultimate spiritual test. Like, or not even test, I don't even like that word, but this is the ultimate spiritual journey of like, okay, you're alive, you have your dog, everything else doesn't matter. And I had to sit there, and I mean, I didn't sleep that night. And then I had another dream that night for like, I slept 2.5 hours probably that night. And in there, they showed me a dream. They showed me my building got hit. So I was living in the Village, which is owned by Rick Caruso. I don't know if you know him, but like if you're in LA, you know him. He's a real estate developer, billionaire, and he built the Village, and it was beautiful. And so he hired his own fire trucks because, first of all, LA Fire, like they ran out of water. They didn't have enough trucks. Right, we're right by the ocean. So, I mean, there's so many things. We could get into that conspiracy. So he hired his own fire team to surround the Village because that was his baby. Like, that's the center of the Palisades. And in my dream, they showed me that it got hit, and they were pissed, but they were able to get it out. And I woke up, and then I talked to my property manager, and she got word, because nobody could go there, really, because it was, like, demolished, that one unit got hit, and it was my unit. I was the only unit. There was 8 units, and then stores downstairs. One store burned totally down. One store burnt half, and then my unit was the only one that got hit. And when that happened, I knew that, okay, I've been through so much with my awakening, with men taken from me in my life, with Lyme disease, that I trust and I know that even if you don't like it, you have to accept it. And I knew right away, I was like, this didn't happen by accident, at least my unit. And I said, okay, like there's obviously a plan and I'm not supposed to be here right now, even though I was living my best life, you know? So that's kind of the long and the short of it. I know you're like in shock. It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot, right? And I mean, I could add this. I had a lot of friends in the Palisades. I have a lot of friends, and I would talk to them, and everyone was crying, and you know, a lot of people, their house was gone. They found out, like, someone's husband rode in on like this bike in the morning, which you shouldn't have went. I mean, it's still on fire, but he saw, and so he would like report back to a lot of people, and so he was sharing, and so a lot of people lost everything in a second, and that's horrific. There's no, this is worse or this is bad. It's just different. So what happened with me is, okay, the fire was on my balcony. They were able to get it out. Okay, we're good. Well, it went in a little bit, but they were able to get out. Oh, okay, so like maybe just like my kitchen burned. Okay. No, and then when I went 3 weeks later, because you couldn't get in for 3 weeks, I had to go in a gas mask, hazmat suit, my goggles. My eyes were burning that whole night, even with goggles on. And if there's a fire that enters your house, you're done. You can't save anything, because my closet didn't burn. The back of my house didn't burn. And everything with the sprinklers was covered in black mold. So every fabric was gone. All my books, on my couch, my clothes, some mold, and then, but the smell. You can't get the smell out. So I did take some things. I was like, let me try. So I took some of my really beautiful pieces, like my clothes, like vintage items that I really loved. And I was like, I'm just going to try. So I spent, I think it was $3,000 or $5,000, I can't remember right now, dollars to clean it, to get it cleaned, like fire cleaned and then ozonated. And then they came back and they burned my eyes so bad. In my apartment, I had to put glasses on. I have videos on my Save Stories, and I had to throw them away. So I did videos of people. I'm like throwing my vintage Chanel, my Dolce & Gabbana. And again, I'm not like, labels don't matter. It doesn't. It's just that I loved these things. They were expensive, and I'm throwing them down the trash chute because I couldn't wear them. So I ended up wasting more money, but I'm glad I did it, so I know. So the whole point is, at the end of the day, I think I got some crystals that I cleaned off. They're probably still toxic, but I cleaned them. I got a vase that I cleaned. There was 2 pictures and a cubbyhole in a closet that was like back and hidden so it didn't burn. And yeah, that's it. That's it about, and there might be a couple other small things, but everything is gone.
Oh,
so
man.
anyways, just wanted to share you. So my roller coaster was up and down. Like I didn't know for a month if I had anything. And then at the end of the day, I didn't really.
What was thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
What was the reaction when you found out that you were the only unit out of the 8 that was destroyed?
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking. And then I understand bigger picture. I get it. But that doesn't mean I don't have to feel and don't have to cry and I'm not sad. But I knew that, okay, this obviously happened for a reason. And the more I've been finding out is that this was always part of my plan. Because I was like, why did they let me move in, Spirit? Why did Spirit move in? Because before I moved in, I was like, if this is not for me, tell me. Don't like block it for me. Take it from me. Don't let me have it. If it's too expensive, like, and I'm going to struggle, or if it's going to be uncomfortable financially, take it from me. Like, I don't want it. That's my new thing. Because I'm like, if he's not right for me, take it from me. If it's not right for me, take it from me. Don't put me in that, right? And it's a really big lesson of, it was part of my experience to have that because it was my dream and it was beautiful. And friends would come over all the time. They were in the neighborhood. I would, walk downstairs to Pilates, walk downstairs to yoga. I was at Air One. Like I would have, like the farmer's market was right downstairs. I mean, I was literally living my dream life. I was so happy. So it was part of my experience to have that. But that's the thing is like with life, with death, like we don't get to pick and choose how long anything lasts, whether someone's in our life or not. We don't get to choose. This was part of. There's more that I found out afterwards of why this happened, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, since you've had a couple months now, since everything transpired, you've obviously had more time to reflect on the whole situation.
Yeah.
What are some of the lessons that you've learned? What are some of the things that have maybe come to the surface that you've noticed?
Yeah. There's a lot. I'd have to really like prioritize what, but basically one, after it happened, I've been through so much in my life. So there was like, I know I'm going to be okay because I know who I am and I know my strength. And I don't mean that as like, I'm so independent, I don't need a man. Like, no. I don't mean that at all. It means that I know who I am and I've been through a lot. And after going through, I mean, you know health too. After going through Lyme disease, I had everything in my house, but I was really sick and I could barely send an email at times. So I'm like, oh, okay, but like I still have my mind, I still have my body. So I lost everything, but like, wow, I could still do everything. So like that was a really beautiful, beautiful reflection because if you're sick, you have nothing. So that was beautiful. And I mean, there's just so many lessons. There's so many things still coming up. You know, I'm at my family's house right now, and I'm so grateful for that. I could have went and got a new place, but I didn't want to. I was like, I have to heal my nervous system. I have to rest.
Yeah.
Because I have to buy everything, and I don't want to do that right now. And I don't know where I want to live. So let me just wait, and let me allow Spirit to show me maybe it's somewhere else. Maybe it's not that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's literally like the worst case scenario for any human being, other than actually death itself.
Yeah.
Is literally all of your shit, all of your material world
Yeah.
getting removed from your life in an instant.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And gone. You know, someone said to me when I shared a lot on Instagram because I wanted to be very real and I wanted people to know that like, this is the grieving process. And this is, you know me, I'm very straightforward. So like, I'm just sharing my journey. And someone's like, you talk a lot about the material stuff that you lost. And I said, yeah, because I did lose my material stuff. I didn't lose my soul. I don't have to talk about my soul. I still have my soul. So, and that's the reality is I still had me, but I did lose everything I own. And, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, you can replace it. And you absolutely can. And listen, thank God nobody died, right? Or no, thank God. But it's a lot. Like right now, if you just think about, and like women, I feel like we have like more than the guys. Guys are very like minimalist, you know. I had like beautiful things and even open like a kitchen drawer. Like there are times after the fire, I needed to open a can for my dog. And I was like, I don't have a can opener. So I had to stop. I went to Crate and Barrel. It was the closest thing near me where I was staying in the temporary housing. And I was a zombie and I got a can opener. But I was like, I don't have anything. Like, it's crazy.
Imagine if you hadn't done all the spiritual work you've done.
Oh, I would be wrecked.
Because a majority of people in this life have so much of their value and self-worth attached to material things.
Yes.
So you literally losing all of your material shit in the fires would have been a death of yourself.
Yes.
But because you've done all of this work to elevate your soul and to connect in such a deep way with the Creator, you recognize that in some weird, crazy way, this is all part of your unique story and it's happening for you, which sounds a little ridiculous to even say.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine like this happening to me and me not playing the victim.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I wouldn't, but honestly, I probably fucking would, especially for at least a couple months.
Listen, there were moments in the beginning, I was so overwhelmed. I couldn't feel. I would wake up in the morning and cry. And then the rest of the day, I was totally numb. I'm like, I can't feel anything. Like, honestly, I felt like if someone died in front of me, I would just look at them because I felt nothing. It's crazy to go through shock. That's what shock does. And so there were moments I'm like, oh my God. But then I have never felt victim because there are 6,000 other people in the Palisades alone. And that's not Altadena. Altadena, I think there was 8 or 10. And don't quote me on the number. I don't know. I was roughly like 8,000. So 6,000 people. And I'm part of that. So I think if it was just my house that burned, I'd be like, okay, Spirit, like, what are you fucking doing? You know, I feel horrible. I mean, I wish it didn't happen to everyone, but it did. You know, there was a moment where I think the thing that has come up is about not feeling victim, but this is hard. And this is the reality. And I'm very honest about things is that, and I was thinking about this morning. I know I'm strong. I've done a lot. I know I can do things. And again, here we go. Because no matter where I move, I have to start over. And people say, oh, it's fun. Sure, I love interior design. So I'm already like, maybe I'll get this couch or, but it's a lot. So that weighs heavy on me because I'm like, here we go again. I have to do a lot. And I'm tired. Like, I'm tired, really. So I wouldn't say that's victim. I think that's just real life.
Yeah.
Of like, that's the reality.
And
But
you have
again,
to like run your business too.
and I've been running my business throughout this. So I took a little break with my membership. I let people online know. But thank God, I realized so much about business. I have a team, and I said to them, listen, I need you to step in and full throttle. Like, whatever you need to do, keep the back end going. And anything you think of to keep it, do what you need to do. Because it wasn't just the fire. What people don't understand is I was dealing with this. I didn't leave LA until February 28th. So when I got on that plane to come to Florida, I started crying, and I was exhausted because of the work I was doing every single day, going back to my place, talking with the vendors, having to pay to clear it out, telling them they're ripping me off, getting on a phone call at 9 a.m, being like, you're charging me $20,000 to throw away my stuff. I'm like, are you serious? And I went line item by line item on the contract. And I'm like, this is not true. They're trying to take advantage. There were so many things. So, I had to do so much. I had to go back into my house to find anything that had social security number and my box with my paperwork. It was full of black mold. I had to take it, put on my mask, put on my gloves, rip up every single piece because it had all my private info about all my credit cards, my everything. I had to rip up every single piece, and it was soaking wet, so it was all stuck together. But I had to make sure nothing was salvageable. My old passport's full of hair with black mold, So it didn't stop. It was every day. It was trying to do this. So I didn't stop until I got here, and then I didn't move for a week when I got here. So
Yeah.
it's
You
just like
stayed
it's
in the house, you mean?
Oh yeah, I didn't.
Yeah.
I was just outside of my parents' porch, and I was like, I can't do anything because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a long journey.
That's crazy that there's all these people too just trying to take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
That's like so fucking frustrating. Like, what type of person would you be?
I literally said to him, it's 9 a.m. I am tired. I just lost my house. And you think you're charging me $20,000? I'm like, you're actually expecting, you think that I'm going to say yes to this right now. And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
So I think we are both considered conspiracy theorists.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But what's interesting about being a conspiracy theorist in 2025 is that pretty much every conspiracy theory has been proven to be a truth. So they got to find a new name for that. And I saw a lot of people talking about like conspiracy theories about the fires in LA. And I stayed away from it just because I was like, yo, these people are fucking hurting right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I feel like just talking about how horrible Gavin Newsom is, or how this was planned, or how somehow how is there no water in the fire hydrants?
I know.
That is
I know.
so aggravating, and it just demonstrates the incompetency of the political leaders in California.
Yes.
And that's why millions of people have left since 2020. Because California literally is one of the most beautiful paradises in this world. And people like Gavin Newsom found a way to completely fuck it up.
Yes.
So
all true.
Now that a couple months have passed, what are some things that have come to the surface regarding agendas that were involved with this? What do you think are some of the deeper meanings behind it all?
To be honest, I haven't dove into it. I feel like this was just an accidental wildfire? No. But I haven't really gone there because I don't have the energy. And I think that, I've learned through 2020, COVID, talking about vaccines and stuff, I really went for it. And I was like going hard, And you have to pick and choose where you want to use your energy. And because I was going through the fires, I would share some things on my stories here and there, absolutely going through it, but I didn't have the energy. And I still don't know if I have the energy, because for me right now, I'm not there. I'm not helping with that because I need to heal me. And then maybe I go back, or maybe I stay here. I don't know. But the leadership is a major problem in Los Angeles. Rick Caruso talks about that. He did an amazing podcast with Joe Rogan that it's incredible. And he was talking about the leadership. And he ran for mayor and he didn't win because they thought he was like too conservative. Now everyone's like, oh, please run again, you know. And he talks about like what they did to like push him out. You know, Biden and Kamala, they came in and they like pushed him out basically because, anyways. So there's a lot of bullshit. And, you know, it's the same bullshit that's been there since 2020. And, you know, I did post something about the fires and Newsom and just Bass, the mayor, and just everything that's going on. And someone messaged me, they're like, you've been saying this since 2020 about the leadership. And they're like, I didn't want to believe you, but you were right. And it's not about me being right. It's just about people finally opening their eyes that there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a problem. And these are people that actually don't care. They don't care. And they have bigger agendas. So are there wildfires in California? Absolutely. Right? Is the reservoir, should that be filled? Yes. Is that poor leadership, poor management? Absolutely. Why wasn't there water in there? Was that planned? I mean, you hear Rick Caruso the night of the fire screaming and saying, they're telling me they're running out of water. Like, we're in California. There's the ocean right there. How are we running out of water, right? I mean, it's a disgrace, really.
And it's also the whole thing that was happening with the home insurance companies.
Uh-huh.
How so many people lost their home insurance.
Right before.
A couple months before the fires hit.
Yes.
That also makes me believe that there's something else happening here. Like, that's not just
absolutely.
a coincidence.
No, it's not. And I think that a lot of people ignore that stuff. And, you know, conspiracy theorists, like whatever you want to call it, we put things together. We connect the dots, right? Because it's obvious. And so you have to look at all these pieces. And yeah, I mean, I have friends that lost their house completely, burned to the ground. I have friends that their house didn't burn, their street didn't burn, but they can't, it's almost $200,000 to clean it, right? And they have to throw away their couch and everything. Everyone's in a different situation, but like ultimately, it's not good. Like everyone, like the entire town, I drove around afterwards and it's devastating. My videos don't do it justice because it's just from like one view, but it's everywhere I used to walk. Winston, that's my dog. Everywhere I used to walk. It's called the Alphabet Streets. It was behind the village. It was beautiful and it was so peaceful, so calm. And he was happy because he gets scared when he's outside, but he was happy there because it's peaceful, at least walking there. And it's all gone, every single house. And I'm like, I have videos of me walking Winston, like, you know, any dog mom is like, I have a million videos, right? And I'm like, I have all the houses and they're all gone. And that's just one section. And then you go across the street and there might be like two houses and then they're all gone. And then you go up. It's just the entire, it just.
And then a lot of
and then it went
houses
to
in Malibu, right?
Then it went down.
Those are like 20, 30, $40 million homes.
Even in the Palisades, you know? Palisades is different. Like, there's small bungalows, and, like, people have lived there their whole life. So everyone's like, oh, they're rich, they're fine. Well, that's not true. A lot of people inherited houses, and the mortgage was paid off, so they lived there. Like, they didn't have fancy cars. Like, they lived in small, cute little bungalows. So you had the variety. But, you know, I said after the fire, talk about conspiracy, I said to my friends, when, you know, because every day, I'm sure you watch, there was a fire here, then a fire there. It was like kept popping up. It was like exhausting. I said, if they do Calabasas next, then we know. Okay, well, there wasn't a fire in Calabasas because Calabasas is a really nice area, like the Palisades. And so there's no fire, but now they're taking the waste, the dump, and putting it in a landfill in Calabasas. And that's a huge problem because that's all toxic. So why are they doing that there? Right, like, that's a problem. So
even in Laguna Beach, because I was there like a couple.
Yeah, I remember.
I was like
you.
a week after staying at my buddies in Laguna Beach, and literally the day I got there, I get a message from him, and he's like, "By the way, bro, don't go in the ocean." I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
I was literally about to go there, and that evening, he's like, "Yeah, the water just got polluted with 200,000 gallons of sewage." I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, it's so sad to see. And this really just zooming out is just like a perfect reminder of why we need to really just be extremely mindful of how we operate and navigate our own life, and how we can't outsource our health, our healing, our life to other people, to other agencies who don't have our best interests in mind. And I think, you know, a lot of people who are going to watch this and listen to this, Danielle, didn't listen to our previous conversation. So I think is also going to be really valuable to talk about your journey with Lyme in 2017.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before, but just how broken the healthcare system is.
Completely broken.
And
I would still be sick if I followed it.
yeah. And it's also kind of interesting, before you share, because I feel like you have just been handed some very, very interesting challenges in your life.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's honestly really inspiring to see the way that you're handling it now. And I'd like to think that I have the same level of awareness and be able to bounce back.
Yeah.
I don't know. Truly, I don't know. But like, this really just shines a light on all of the shit that I'll complain about or feel sorry for myself about and be like, yo, bro, this ain't shit. Like, these people literally lost all their stuff. Yeah. Like, they lost their entire life. And like you said, like, I mean, a lot of these people don't have the awareness with their soul work like you do. Yeah. I can't imagine where they're at. So take us back 2017, because a lot of people are struggling with different autoimmune conditions and they're not getting the support that they need.
Yeah. Okay. So but to answer your question, I've had a very interesting life with a lot of things, but I also know that's my path because I know what I signed up for. My soul is ancient. And I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone because I'm not. It's my path. My soul is ancient. I had certain things. I like to say my soul's an asshole. Like, my soul agreed for this shit, because I know that I'm moving big mountains frequency-wise, like dimensions in this lifetime. And that's just my path. So. And
by the way, before you actually continue, how much of that do you believe is fate, destiny? Like, your soul came here and like these different events were already on the timeline. How much of that is true versus like free will?
Yes.
And where do these come together?
Oh my God, such a good question. I love this. This is a lot of my book that I'm writing too right now. So everyone has a little bit of a different path depending on, we could call it your soul age. I don't know what other words. We're just going to call it your soul age, depending on what you signed up for. There are some people that are just going to coast, and maybe they're taking a break in this lifetime. Maybe they, or maybe it's like new here and they're learning different kind of lessons, right? So I think there's a lot of people that, there are certain things lined up, but like they get a coast, okay? But all I can speak for is myself. I know that my soul came here for big things. I've known that ever since I was little, but it took me till 30 years to figure out what that was for. So there are certain contracts. There are certain people we're supposed to meet. There are certain events that are going to happen because that's already contracted. That's part of our soul. Do we have free will? Absolutely. Because I can choose. I can be depressed right now. I can choose to cry every day. I can choose to not get up. I can choose to be like, I'm moving back to my parents. I'm a loser, this. And I'm like, no, actually, thank God I'm going back to my parents so I could rest my nervous system and then wait till I decide where I want to live, because I don't want to choose from a disempowered place. I want to choose from an empowered place. So we have free will to navigate, and we have free will. Like, you can meet someone and you can say, no, like, I don't want that, even if that's your path. And then there's another contract, there's another soulmate, there's another person that's going to come in. So it's not black and white. It's never black and white. We have 50,000 shades of gray, 50 million trillion shades of gray in the quantum field. So was this contracted? Was Lyme contracted for me? Yes, I found that out. Was this always going to happen as my path? Yes, because this basically catapulted me. It basically collapsed things in my body, catapulted me, like shook me, awoke me, and made me jump in like a month what would have taken years. And I know, because I've talked to some other people, like my mentors and also my higher self, my soul. They're like, did you want to do this in a couple years, or did you just want to fast track it? And my soul was like, let's fast track this shit, baby. Like, I'm here for all of this. Like, and I'm like, again, why? So like, I know that. So fate and free will, we have a lot of free will, but there are certain things that are going to happen that you can't stop. And that's part of our path. Actually, right before the new year, I said, all of you are planning, you think 2025 is going to be your best year, and I hope it is for you. I wrote something about this. I said, I really hope it is for you. And you can have your to-do list, and you can have all these things, but I'm going to tell you, what's going to be is what's going to be. And so I posted it after the fire, and I said, it's whatever needs to happen for your journey is going to happen, and it might not be your to-do list, and you're just going to have to go with it. I said that before the fire, before the new year. And that's the reality. Is you can plan all you want, and I love a good plan. I love to be organized, but the reality is that shit goes out the window, right? And so you have to follow. So I say, follow the breadcrumbs. Where's it taking you? So I'm not making any plan right now. I am listening to where my soul is telling me to go. Maybe I go back to California. Maybe I stay in Florida. Maybe I'm going to be in Greece. I have no idea. But I'm like, I'll know when I know.
And I'm not worried. Mykonos vibe, right?
Yeah, well, Mykonos and some other. Mykonos is getting a little crazy, but yeah.
Yeah.
But Greece is beautiful. Second home. Yeah. So anyways, that's the fate free will. I mean, that's a whole conversation, but
2017 Lyme.
Yeah, Lyme. Basically.
What is Lyme disease for those that don't know?
Well, I think it's a bioweapon. Talk about another conspiracy theorist. So I think it's a bioweapon. When I got COVID, I was like, oh God, like this feels like how I felt with Lyme. You know, it was like so similar. And I'm like, I'm good. I know how to navigate this. I'm like, I have COVID, you know, but like I knew how to navigate because I went through. So Lyme, what is it? They tell you it's from a tick. I don't believe that in a second. Maybe that's part of it, but there's so much more. Until you have it, until you go through it, I mean, oh my God, this is actually easy, the fire stuff compared to Lyme. I'm cruising right now. This is easy compared to Lyme. Lyme wrecked me. So I got in 2017. I was in Colombia actually. And at the end of the trip, I started getting sick. And then I came back and then I got really sick and I kept getting like the flu. And then I was like, oh, it'll go away. And then it came back and then it went away and it came back. And I'm like, okay, something's wrong. So I went to the doctor and I love to share this. I was so in the system at that point with medicine because there was no reason for me not to understand more because I never had to really have an experience with it.
Right.
I was so in the system. Oh, let's back up for a second. In 2016, I get vaccinated to go to Bali. Okay, this is my best story. Okay, so I was like, oh, it's so funny. I love sharing it because people never like to share the shit that they did. I think it's hysterical. So I'm like, oh, to be safe because I'm really sensitive. My body is very sensitive. My best friend goes to me, I don't know if you should do that. I don't think it's really good. And I go, oh no, I think it's good because I'm so sensitive, so I'm doing the right thing, okay? So there was no reason, like I never had to deal with health before, so I had no idea. I'm just in the system. So I get vaccinated in 2016. 2017 comes around, I get super sick. I get the flu over and over. I go to the doctor, they give me antibiotics. So I take the antibiotics. I come home, I get better, then I get sick again. And I go back and they gave me another round and I was like, no, something's not, why am I getting another round? And then I took it and I didn't know. And then at that point, Spirit started guiding me and they're like, you need to stop. And they're like, stop going there. And they're like, that's not going to help. And I'm like, okay. But the Spirit guided me step by step, but like never showed me the big picture. I was sick for 5 years, like really sick for 5 years. And I'm still every day I have to help my body because I'm just sensitive. The amount of it took me a year to even get tested for Lyme because no doctor told me. You know how I found this girl, Holly Owens? I love her. She's online. She's a model and a wellness expert and influencer. She does all these things because she went through Lyme disease. She's the one that talked about Lyme disease, and I went to go check. And now we're friends. I went to go check because of her. So no doctor told me to get checked. So I get checked for Lyme. And when you have Lyme, you have all the toxins and it's Lyme, parasites, heavy metals, mold, fungus, it's candida, it's all connected because when you have an environment for that, you wouldn't have any of that if your environment was able to, transmute that. But like my stomach acids were low, poor pH balance, like everything. So it was a ticking time bomb, my body. Did this just happen in one day? No, this was a lifetime choice. I grew up eating sugar, right? I grew up with all these things, it's every choice we make leads to the next thing. So it just, at that moment, it was done, right? Also, was a contractor for my journey to understand the mind-body connection? Absolutely, okay. To get me in my body because I was channeling so much that I was out of my body. So I had to actually be here in my body because that was new for me. Because I always was like, no, I don't want to be here. Didn't like my body, always escaping. We talked about that with the explant, right? Like my body image issues when I was younger. So I had to get back in my body. So anyways, it was a long road. I did everything opposite of Western medicine, and that's what healed me. Now, people want to know, oh, is it like one thing? It's not one thing. I had to heal my emotions. It brings up a lot of trauma. It brought up a lot of rage. I think it was I don't know the full, like Babisa or something. It's one of the co-infections with Lyme. It brings up rage. And I had so much rage that I was afraid to leave the house sometimes because I was like, my mental health was just gone. Lyme has one of the highest suicide rates because of the mental health where it does to you. I could barely leave bed. There was one time I was in my house for 3 months and didn't leave. And then I went to the beach with my friend. He was like, let's just go watch the sunset. And like, I'm like, oh my God, I cried. Like, so it was like it was 5 years total of struggling with that. And then when I got my explant and got that out, I mean, that changed everything. It was like my body was like, whew, thank God.
And it's interesting about Lyme disease and some of these other autoimmune conditions, because I don't even know if these existed like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
You don't really hear anyone talk about these
Yeah.
different chronic diseases that existed. So it's all of these environmental toxins, the glyphosate, the microplastics, all the artificial food dyes, the artificial sweeteners. And it's really unfortunate too, because Lyme is one of those things, right? Where if I looked at you, I couldn't necessarily see that there's something wrong going on.
Actually, I looked so good when I had Lyme in the beginning because I was so skinny. I was like, I looked so good, but I was dying inside.
Which makes it even more painful almost.
Yeah.
Because like if I see you wearing a cast, or I see like something viscerally, aesthetically wrong with you, it's like, okay, this person needs help. But with Lyme, it's not like that.
Yeah.
And obviously the Western medicine doctors couldn't give you any support.
Oh, yeah, I stopped that because I was watching people that had Lyme for 10 years. They're struggling. I'm like, we're 10 years in, and they had no improvement. So my whole journey was 5 years. That doesn't mean like at the 5-year mark, I was still like in bed. Absolutely not. Like I was getting better, but there was a lot of stuff. But I watched, I'm like, you're not getting better. And also, I'm going to say this pisses people off all the time. I've been on many podcasts talking about this, and people love to spin this. They like to go viral. People are talking shit about me on Twitter. People love to take anything, and they don't know you. They haven't lived the experience, but they like to project their own shit. I know you know this because you're controversial too. First of all, you can't say Lyme was the best thing that ever happened to me. It was a gift. I said that, and people lost their shit. So you can talk about it again. Lyme was a gift for me because I learned so much about health. I learned about my body. I learned about my soul. I learned everything I need to learn. Was it hell? Absolutely. Do I have compassion for people going through it? Absolutely. The other thing is people are still missing the emotional component. They're just trying to go to the doctor and fix it. I got deep down into my traumas, my childhood, all the shit that like I, suppressed, and we all suppress that stuff, right? I went in every nook and cranny, not every because it's still evolving, but like a lot of nooks and crannies, right? And I went there and I had to heal that. So people are missing a huge emotional component with Lyme because the mind body is not separate, right? And I mean, there's so many things I can say.
And by the
here.
way, for anything with any dysfunction or any dis-ease, any illness that someone is experiencing, the first priority should always be to change the current energetic and emotional state.
Yes.
Rather than just searching for a solution that's putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound, it's like, let's actually discover what energy and emotional coherence needs to take place right now. And once we have understanding on that, then we can start to create solutions from a more aligned place.
Yeah. And there's so many layers to this because I'm not going to be like, oh, I was sad or depressed growing up and now I have Lyme. Could be. There could be things that manifest, right? But there's so many layers. So everything starts in the spiritual realm. I'm going to say this is also going to be controversial, and this pisses so many people off in the Lyme community, but I'm like, but you guys, I have compassion. You're still sick. So why don't you try something else, right?
Are you ready to feel limitless in 2025? I'm talking limitless physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, financially. This is your sign to try out microdosing for 30 days. We have a very special opportunity for podcast listeners. You can get started for only $222. This includes the medicine being shipped to you, the highest quality, fair trade, organic, sustainably sourced microdoses in the world at your doorstep. And you also get access to live group coaching calls with me, our private community. This is your sign to take ownership of your life in 2025. If you're ready, hit the link in the description, and I can't wait to see you on the inside.
But you guys, I have compassion. You're still sick. So why don't you try something else, right? It's a spiritual awakening. Look at the people who get Lyme. One, they probably have lack of boundaries because they're very open emotionally and very psychic and very sensitive. All the people that I know have Lyme are very in tune psychically. And when you're in tune psychically, to be psychic, you don't have boundaries because you're tapping into other realms. So you have to develop, I've had to develop better boundaries and also work with my gifts. So it's a spiritual awakening on another level. And it's also, I mean, I can't speak for everyone else, but for me, it was contracted from my soul, right? There are some people that could have like red dyes all the time and eat McDonald's, and maybe they're fine because it's not their soul contract. But this had to happen for my journey. But then everything, like the sugar and everything, was just a tipping point. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, it happened because of your implants at the time. And I know because spirits told me. They're like, it didn't happen because of that. It didn't help that. The implants did not help. There was like a compounding effect on top of it. But that did not cause all that, right?
We should... I know you don't love talking about this because you felt like I think it was too much of the conversation last time.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Talking about the implant situation.
Okay.
Well, here's
Fine,
the thing.
let's just go.
No, here's the thing.
I said, we're not talking about my boobs this time.
No, here's the reason why it's so important. Okay, there's many reasons why. Okay, especially in a city like Miami. I'm sure it's the same in LA.
Yeah.
It's like very, very, I mean, I would say in Santiago, you might have some insights on this too. I would say probably 20% of women in Miami have not had any work done, right? Which is 1 in 5, which means 80% of women in Miami and other big cities like LA, New York, etc., have had some sort of work done. And that's not coming from a judgmental space. Like, it's your body. You should do what you want to make yourself feel most confident, comfortable, etc.
No.
And I think it's really important to have these conversations about beauty standards.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, the reason why you got breast implants when you were younger is because you were massively insecure. Mm-hmm. And I would argue that's pretty much the same reason why almost every girl gets breast implants. It's because...
I'm going to stop you there. I don't know if that's for I don't think we could generalize that much because I don't think we can say every single person that has implants gets it because they're insecure. I don't agree with that. I think there's many different reasons. A lot of people that have cancer and they have a mastectomy get that. Now, is that the smartest thing to do? Absolutely not, because they cause cancer, but to each their own, and that's their journey. So I understand that, if that makes them feel better. So I don't think we could generalize in saying that every single woman is insecure. I
think I said almost every.
Yeah, but I don't think we can say that because I don't think it's fair. And I'm just going to be honest. I don't think a man should say that because it's different for being a woman.
This is why I love Danielle, guys. She holds you accountable. She speaks her truth. And sometimes the truth is hard to swallow, but at the end of the day, it's just making us a better version of ourselves. So thank you for holding me accountable.
Thank you for receiving that. Yeah, I don't think, for me, I was insecure, yes. I had a very big butt. I still do. People pay for that shit, So I'm like, okay, it's natural. But I was very bottom heavy. And for me, I wanted to even out the top. But also was it insecurity? Absolutely. But I can't say that for everyone. Maybe it's just they feel like they'll look better, but they still love it. I don't know. I don't think it's fair for us to speak. But what I will say, and I have a lot of friends that have them still, I'm not here to shame anyone because there's a lot of people that get them out and they're like, I can't believe anyone that has them. Like, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to shame because everyone's on their own journey. Yeah. And one of the first things you learn is to not judge that because I'm not there. I don't know. So if that's what someone needs to do, that's what someone needs to do for their journey. But I share because I'm like, hey, listen, I didn't know about this. When I was 23, I had no idea about this. I asked the doctor if it was safe, but you have to understand the consciousness back then. I mean, this was like a million years ago, right? So he's like, oh yeah, you just might not be able to breastfeed. And at the time, now, I mean, that's like would be the most beautiful thing in the world. But at 23, I was like, oh, I don't care. Like, let's go to Vegas and dance on a table. Like, I was like, okay. Like, I didn't care at 23. Yeah. Now I'm like, oh my God, breastfeeding is the most beautiful thing ever in the world, right? Yeah. But different consciousness then. So I just shared to bring it to people's awareness because the amount of people that said to me, I wanted to get them out, but I didn't know, but I was sick. And then I watched you and I got them out and I feel so much better. So I'm not here to tell you what to do with your journey. I'm going to share mine. And if you have questions, here I am.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think that's the best approach to have. That's the best approach to have. So that's also I'm visualizing you at 23 in Vegas, like
oh yeah, on the table, I had some fun. Yeah,
on the table.
Yeah.
Because that was also like, that was just kind of like an intuitive belief that I had. I was actually mentioning this to one of my friends. And I was like, breast implants have to impact the quality of breast milk if you're breastfeeding your child, right? Because there's these chemicals here, there's these interference here. So to think that's not having any sort of impact on the baby and the development of their brain is a little naive.
Yeah, if it's leaching into the body, my right implant after I got it out was there was a problem with it. And so it was leaking a little bit. It was, it's like it was just about to. So like there was a problem. So yeah, like you have to be very careful. It's not in the milk ducts, the implant, it's behind the muscle, but still the whole body is connected. So absolutely.
This is honestly part of the matrix and the demonic agenda is to target women and to actually disconnect them from their true essence. This is why when a girl turns 13 or 14, they're handed birth control rather than actually being educated about the power of her cycle. Same thing with all of the shit that women are being pushed today with all of the filters, all of the AI, like you need to have your boobs done. Oh, okay, you took care of that. Now it's time to get lip injections. Okay, cool, you got that. Now we got to get Botox. All right, you got the Botox. Now that ass, like it's a little saggy. We got to match the proportions. You got to get that BBL. Now you got to get the tummy tuck. It's like absolutely mind-blowing how the system tries to disconnect women from their own divinity and beauty. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of those procedures. Again, to each is their own, but it's sad to see, and I've seen this many times, like with just people I know, it's like, it's never enough. And they get into that hamster wheel.
And a lot of people do. If you're not connected to your soul and you don't have it, it goes back to the fire. If I didn't have the spiritual connection, if I didn't have any of this, it is never enough. And then you're never, because there's a million beautiful women everywhere. So you're never going to be enough. And you're always going to compare. But I'm going to throw something. I'm going to throw something here.
Okay.
So
let's hear it.
This is going to be controversial because I get what you're saying, and I agree. Is it a matrix thing? Absolutely. Because if we had nobody telling us, oh, you need to look like this, you need to do this, like you wouldn't, imagine if we didn't have mirrors, right? And we just showed up with our hearts to people, and it's like, I don't know what I look like, but like I'm a good person, and like, hi, here I am, right? So absolutely, is an agenda? Yes. And I'm going to throw something out. I'm getting older, okay? I am watching things change on my body. I am 46, okay? I am watching things go south. I'm watching this. So I'm at the place now, I'm like, okay. Do I feel different about myself? No. I mean, I still love myself. I think I'm amazing. Does it stop me from doing videos online? No, absolutely not. But am I watching stuff? Absolutely. Now, does it cross my mind? Well, maybe I can fix this or tuck this back and then, it'll look like it was before. Yeah. I'm going to be honest about that. I think a lot of people say this that are men. That are men. And also, there's a lot of women older than me that have nothing done, and that's beautiful. But then there's also a lot of people that are like 30, like 32, be like, I would never get this. Listen, things change.
Yeah.
When you get older.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I might get a neck lift at some point.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but you look beautiful and hot.
And thank you. And I don't think here's the thing, and I'm glad we're talking about this. I don't think that I don't look beautiful. I think I'm amazing. I know who I am. I think I am beautiful. And also, maybe 5 years down the line, we're going to snatch the neck a little bit.
Yeah.
So that people in the spiritual community are not going to like that I said that. And then they're like, what kind of agenda are you setting? What kind of example? And I said, listen, I'm just living my life. And we have to stop worrying so much about what other people do. Yeah. It's when it gets out of hand.
Yeah, I think this is where you and I are very aligned, actually, is the spiritual community. Yeah. And all of the people that use spirituality as a mask. I've seen this shit so much in Miami. The people who claim to be super spiritual, who wear all of the garb, all of the necklaces, they're lighting up their Palo Santo, right? Yeah. They're meditating under the full moon. Sometimes these are the people that are actually the ones you have to be very careful about because they claim to be spiritual, but they're actually just really
There's a lot of truth up into what you just said.
Yeah.
So it's true.
The way that I define spirituality is like how much are you authentically yourself without being attached to the opinions of other people?
Yep.
Like, how much can you actually just express yourself unapologetically, communicate your truth without worrying about what feathers you're going to ruffle, without worrying about what people you're going to trigger, actually just speaking from your soul? That is the definition of spirituality. And unfortunately, we live in a world where, I've disconnected myself from a lot of that world because I've just
I'm
seen.
happy to hear that.
Like, oh my gosh, like especially October 7th too was just like
Oh,
a very
Yeah.
painful yet beautiful blessing that
Yes.
I personally needed to see.
Yeah. Well, that'll trigger people too. It's just the fact of us being Jewish triggers the hell out of everyone.
Oh yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I love it. And that's why, honestly, I don't wear shirts like this often. You know why? No, genuinely. The reason I don't wear shirts like this is because I only like to wear shirts where I can like really blatantly rock my chain. So maybe if I like do this.
Well, so you're brave because it's scary these days to wear that.
Yeah, but we can't be scared.
I agree with you, but the amount in LA, so I actually feel safer being Jewish in Miami since I got here, and like the community, and I mean, it's amazing. In LA, you think there's a lot of Jews there, but there's a lot of crazy people there as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know people that got beat up in Beverly Hills just walking down the street wearing a Jewish star.
Of course.
Yeah.
And if you actually talk about this, people think, oh, it's the Jews playing the victim again.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, bitch, are you serious?
It's the same
The
program.
Jews playing the victim? Have you not been paying attention to the last 3,000
Yeah,
years of
yeah.
world history?
Yeah.
Literally, just constantly the exile, the murder, the genocide towards the Jews. Yet, look at the Jewish people now. 22% of the Nobel Prize winners. I think it's almost 40% of the world's wealthiest people are Jewish, yet we're only 0.2% of the world's population. Yet everyone just loves to hate on us and talk about us. I think that's so indicative of the truth. And the truth is that the Jewish people don't play the victim. They just use all of the obstacles for opportunities to transcend and grow. They use all of the pain and transmute it into more purpose, to more value, to more light in the world.
And that triggers people. When you're a lighthouse, it triggers people. And we're builders.
We're builders,
It's in our
baby.
blood. It's in our blood. And that's the thing. I think that, because since October 7th, we both had another massive awakening.
Yeah.
And I felt my ancestors all around me. And I was like, I didn't eat for 3 days because I just was in this place of deep, deep compassion for what was happening and reconnection with my soul. That wasn't my first Jewish awakening. It happened in 2018 but then that one was like the catalyst. And I've been sharing about the hostages ever since. And you know what's the ironic part? I've never been like, I stand with Israel. I actually haven't said that.
Yeah.
I haven't said that ever.
Yeah.
I've shared about the hostages.
Yeah.
And that should not be controversial.
Yeah.
And the fact that people lose their shit, like that just shows you how programmed and brainwashed they are. Because I'm not saying, oh yeah, flatten Gaza. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying for any innocent people there. I'm saying they're hostages.
Right.
And we got to get them back.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a very simple question that you can ask if you really just want clarity on the situation, right? And that question is, okay, if Israel laid down all of its weapons tomorrow, right, what would happen?
Well, I know what would happen.
They would get absolutely obliterated from every direction.
Yes.
Lebanon, Egypt, Iran, etc. If Hamas laid down its weapons tomorrow, there would be peace. It's a very simple paradox that people seem to not understand, right? So listen, it's very interesting being in the whole spiritual world where it's like all about oneness. It's all about connection. But then you have something like October 7th happen, right?
Yep.
And there's so much divisiveness.
Yeah.
There's all of these people that are, free Palestine, Israel's committing a genocide. And then other people, 1,200 people just got absolutely slaughtered and murdered at a music festival for simply being Jewish. Can we not speak up against the absolute
Yeah.
disgusting nature
You
of
could
that.
have been there. You could have
Of
been
course,
there.
I would have been there
Yeah,
if I was
yeah,
living in Israel
yeah.
at the time.
I could have seen that, absolutely, because you would have been into that.
I would have been vibing.
Yeah.
I would have probably been
Totally.
vibing on mushrooms.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
But there comes down to just being real about like good versus evil. And unfortunately, there's people in this world that don't value human life. Yeah. There's people in this world that actually think that by murdering Jewish people, they are actually doing
Yes.
what God wants them to
Yes.
do.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
need to actually understand that there's people that are operating their life in that frequency of fear, hate, disdain, anger, like, but the spiritual people are like, no, like, we just need to talk, like, peace. It's like, yes, trust me, I would love to see peace, right? But it's hard to create peace when you're negotiating with terrorists that just want to kill you and all of your family.
A lot of people are coming from a Western mentality. They have really no idea. They have no idea. If you ask them even anything about Judea, the moment someone says white colonizer, I know that you actually don't know what you're talking about. Like that's an indication that you ask them about Judea, they have no idea.
Well, that's honestly like where our education system has gone for the last 50 years.
Well, because it's paid for by,
Of course. Yeah. Well, it's all this.
He's agreeing. He's like,
it's all this Marxist. It's all the Marxist agenda, right?
Yeah, they're so in it.
The way that our education system is built out now is that there's always going to be an oppressed, and that means there's always going to be an oppressor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, we see this all the time with Black Lives Matter and what happened with George Floyd, and, which was really disgusting and horrible to witness. Yeah. But it made all white people and all cops the oppressor, which just is not true, right? And then October 7th happens. Rather than having sympathy and compassion, it was like, no.
It was immediate, too.
The Jews deserve this, yes. And they're the oppressor of the Palestinian people. But what's interesting about that is that when you actually go to Israel, which I highly recommend all of these Middle East experts to do, actually spend time there.
They should go. Yes.
Spend time there. You'll see that over 20% of the Israeli population is Arab.
Yep.
Which, by the way, means that apartheid is non-existent. Yeah. And the second thing you'll realize, for anyone who says Israel's committing a genocide, which is just so laughable, if Israel wanted to commit a genocide overnight, they easily could flatten Gaza and take out 2 million people. Obviously, they don't want to do that. That's not how they operate, because Israelis value human life, but they also value protecting their people and protecting their land. So if you go and murder 1,200 people for simply being Jewish, right? Of course, there's going to be a retaliation. There's going to be a response. And Hamas knows that.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Of course.
So I don't think even on our previous conversation, we even touched on Judaism.
No, we didn't at all.
Because it wasn't like, for me at least, it was like, I was always proud of being Jewish.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't like that big of a part of my identity.
Yeah.
Right? And now since October 7th, it's like, like we really, especially people with a platform, I feel like we have an obligation to speak out.
Yeah. You definitely speak out.
Speaking out. I'm gonna post a video today or something for Shabbat. Like Shabbat is sacred. Yeah. Sex on Shabbat's a double mitzvah.
I know that.
You're aware?
Yeah. Oh, very aware.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
they're like
putting that out there.
Oh, putting that out there.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. The reason actually, because I was curious about this, I asked my rabbi, I was like, why is sex on Shabbat a double mitzvah? And it's because the energy on Shabbat is so strong. There's so much light to receive from the Creator. So if you're in position to have sex, obviously with someone that you're in a relationship with, that you have a spiritual connection with, it is amplified. Yeah. Like your souls are connected to another extent. So that's why sex on Shabbat is a mitzvah.
There you go, folks.
I think I'm honestly considering like transitioning to becoming like a mushroom rabbi.
Wait a minute.
Psychedelic rabbi.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I was going to say, because that's funny you're saying that. The more I'm diving into this.
Yeah.
So my whole life, like I've been Jewish, but I was like, I I got to go a different path. I got to be spiritual, like not spiritual, but like I had to learn that. I had to learn about consciousness. Yeah. So it's not about religion, but the more I learn about Judaism, it's so spiritual and it's so beautiful. And it's actually a lot of the same stuff that I've already been doing, but it's just giving meaning. So now I'm learning Kabbalah, but not the basic bitch Kabbalah 101, right? That like really, truly like the beautiful mystical teachings.
Such
and mixing it with astrology. So actually astrology is huge in the Torah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know that at first. And I'm like, oh, there's a reason why my soul has always done this for many lifetimes, right? So it's funny you say that because I'm diving deeper into understanding the Torah because someone said to me, the Torah is not history, it's actually present day. And so when they were releasing the hostages, like, one by one, the Torah portion for the week would match up with what was going on with like the people that were being released. Like it's crazy. So this brings you into numerology, astrology, energy, frequency. Like there's some wild, wild shit hidden in the Torah. So I'm getting into that more and more.
Yeah, and what
you're going to become a rabbi. We're both going to become rabbis.
I got this well-known book from the Kabbalah Center. I study there every week, and it's like Kabbalistic astrology, and it's cool because, and I'm literally at like level 1 out of 100.
I love that you're learning astrology
in terms of the comprehension, because a lot of it is like based on your tikkun, right? Yeah. And your soul's correction and understanding like the South Node and the North Node.
Which I've always talked about. And a lot of Western astrologers didn't talk about it, but Spirit just told me to do it. And that's why I started talking about it because I'm connected to all of this. My soul already knew. And I'm going to say this. I've been talking about the soul and the soul's journey and being the light. I've been talking about that for 16 years now on my journey. I'm basically talking about Kabbalah without saying I was talking about Kabbalah because my soul's already done this. So that's what's amazing. So now I'm actually learning the Hebrew letters because they all have a vibration. I'm in a Hebrew class right now.
Really?
Yeah,
online?
Yeah, online, yeah. So
Is it a good one?
Yeah, it's good. I'll give you the information. So I'm learning the Hebrew letters because they all carry a vibration and they all have spiritual meanings behind it. So yeah,
when did you start that?
Oh, it just started probably like 3-4 weeks ago.
Okay, cool. So I wouldn't miss that much.
No.
Is it every week or
every week? Yeah.
One class a week?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to come to Israel this summer.
Well, I'm going.
Yes, I'll be there all summer.
Yeah, that'll be amazing. Then I was thinking we should like do a workshop or something together.
That'd be sick.
Yeah. We're just
Let's
this
go,
right now.
Danielle Paige, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, this is amazing. And I actually want to transition because you didn't have your spiritual awakening until age 30.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of people right now are confused or they're on a journey of really cultivating clarity with their life's purpose. What is my mission? Why am I here?
Yes.
And I think your story is really valuable because you were really successful in the corporate world, right?
I was doing interior architecture before.
Right.
I did sales. Yeah, I mean, I didn't do it for that long, but it was a path. I got my graduate degree in that. So yeah.
So yeah, because you, I guess, awakened. I don't know if you awakened earlier or later than most people, whatever. But you, like you said, were kind of stuck in the system.
I was very. I got vaccinated in 2016.
Yeah, you were immersed fully in the matrix.
How much more in the system can you get? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like sharing some of your journey for helping people understand, because chances are when you were younger, like you were having these visuals, these dreams, but you didn't really know what to make of it. And I know a lot of people who sometimes like have these dreams, they have like these divine downloads, but they just don't know how to actually like integrate it into their life. It's scary.
Yeah.
And if you're like someone who carries a lot of energy and you can feel a lot of energy, that can be very scary because you almost feel ostracized. You almost feel like you have this power, but like you don't want to let people know that you have this power. You don't know how to express it or use it to your advantage or to help humanity.
Yeah.
So what was that journey like for you?
Well, when I was a kid, I feel like I had a couple moments where I saw things, but I was so scared and I shoved it down. And I shut that door because I was terrified. Like as a kid, you have to understand that consciousness is different. So I had my awakening at 30, but now that's 16, almost 17 years ago. Then nobody was really talking about this stuff. So it was I later? Maybe. Like people now are having their awakenings at 20 something because the consciousness is different. So the consciousness was really dense when I had my awakening, so I didn't really have any people to help me. Okay, so that's just to answer that question before.
And that happened. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just did. That happened were you in Paris when that happened? And you were like there with a partner?
No, that's where I got dumped. I got dumped in France on my 30th birthday.
Okay, so
Paris.
But it was like the same period of time.
Yeah, and then I went home. I was living in Boston, and I was just like knew I was done, and so I went home to California, where my parents were living. My parents live here now, but they were living there at the time, and so I just went back home. And then about a month after that is when I started having my awakening. So yeah, but when I was younger, I shoved it down because I would see some things, but it was so scary. Like the world wasn't there. Like our consciousness is more awake now. That's why, again, 18-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds are awake and seeing things and having experiences because we're there now, right?
Yeah.
And we're only getting more. But so I didn't understand that. So it was so scary to me. But I would I would see things clairvoyantly, and I would just know things. So I shoved it down. And then, I had dreams here and there that would show me things, but I was like, oh, I had a dream and it came true. And then I would just like forget about it because it was like, well, what does that even mean? Like I did not have the consciousness to even open that door, right? And Spirit was always kind of putting things in my path. I can see now, like a book. I remember reading about spirit guides when I was in junior high, and I literally was like, I don't understand. I could not get it. I didn't understand the concept, but like somehow I found a book on spirit guides. And like now I'm like, oh, okay, like I get it, but like I didn't understand. But of course, they're always putting things on your path. And I just shoved it down, and then I wasn't ready for it. So it scared me. But you know what? I always felt, for 30 years, I actually felt very disconnected, that something was missing. And then when I had my awakening, at first I was scared when I saw a spirit in my room for the first time. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh my God.
What did that look like?
He looked like the god of Neptune. That's the only way I could describe it. Like this was some ancient being, that I saw. And I'm like, what the fuck? Right? And so I turned on the lights and didn't sleep with the lights off for 2 weeks because I was terrified. And then in that process, Spirit started directing me. They're like, if you go to fear, you're going to bring more of that in. And I was like, well, how the fuck am I not going to, and like, they're not like talking to me, but they're impressing it in you. Right. And I'm like, well, how am I not going to be scared? Then I realized, okay, there's nothing to fear. It's just me being scared. So I navigated this whole journey by myself of like figuring this out. And then they told me to meditate, and then I meditated, and I'm like, I don't know how to meditate. Right. And I don't know what that is. And then I started getting into it, and I started seeing things, and I would have to set my alarm because I would be deep in for an hour. I mean, it was amazing. So the most beautiful part about this, I want to say, to kind of summarize that, was when I had this awakening, I had no idea what was going on, but I listened to my heart. And for the first time in 30 years, I felt happy, like really happy. I felt love that I've never felt because I was connecting with my soul. And that's what was missing my whole life, but I didn't know. And I felt peace that I've never felt. So that was my clue to keep going. And that was it. And that was it. And one of the first things they showed me when I was in meditation, I opened my eyes, I saw a heart, like an actual heart. There's no heart in front of me, but like I saw a heart. Because I could, no plant medicine, but just seeing in other dimensions, yeah? And it took me years and years to be like, what were they talking about? And they showed me all my gifts are in my heart. And also for everyone, the way through everything is through the heart. So it's been a journey. I mean, I talk about that on my podcast.
And that's pretty much going back to Kabbalah. Like that's really what Kabbalah is all about.
No.
Is cultivating that deep connection to your soul through the Creator.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly what.
And that's what I've been teaching. That's what's so wild. Like, I teach astrology, but astrology is a component of what I teach. It's all about the soul. It's always been the soul for me since day one. Always, always. Soul, God, creator, whatever you want to call it, it's that. And that's why I know that, like, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah, because when I first heard, like, even when we first had the conversation, I was like open to the idea that astrology could be this cool tool to like better understand yourself and your path. Now I'm fully bought in.
It's amazing. Yeah.
I think there's still the people who invest a little too much into it.
I agree with you on that. As an astrologer, I say there's nothing going to save you.
Yeah.
It's a tool to help you navigate the cosmic rhythm. And as above, so below, there's nothing outside of us. Cosmic body, we are cosmic body beings. So everything works in unison. But there's nothing outside that's going to save you. You are going to save you. That's it.
So when you are Working with people.
Yeah.
Do you work with one-on-one people?
Sometimes, only right now for my membership, but usually
many
it's
people
group
are in
stuff. Oh, over 1,000, yeah.
And they're paying something every
It's
month.
such a good deal, first
Yeah.
of all, because my moon circles are $35, and then they raise that replay goes up to $37. You can join my membership for $36 a month, which includes the moon circle. It includes bi-monthly meditation. It includes bi-monthly talks from me or someone else. It includes, we have an app, and I'm giving you downloads almost every single day of stuff that's going on, helping you navigate how to get through this, 10 steps for this, like how to do everything, how to navigate the human journey with more awareness. It's, it's a gym membership for your soul. So it's $36 a month for everything. It's insane. The value is insane. And I do that because I have higher price point things, absolutely, but I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I can't afford thousands of dollars, so I can't transform. No, you can.
Is the retention on that pretty low? Pretty high, I mean? Like, are there, because it's $36, which isn't a lot. So, like, do people stay in there just for a while?
Oh, yeah, I've had people from the beginning. Yeah,
When
absolutely.
did you start that?
When I was in Miami, it was probably like maybe 2023, so like 2 years now.
Not that
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. But yeah, people are in there from the beginning.
Yeah, I get your
Yeah.
emails. They're good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do things in a very holistic way. Like, I feel like you're almost like with all the new age tools and stuff, obviously you implement those, but you still keep things like very authentic in your voice. Like
Well, it is me. Yeah. Thank
your
you.
emails don't sound like they're ChatGPT.
They're not.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm writing them. Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
I can tell.
exhausting, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you think it would be
Oh,
a good time
yeah.
to share this.
Okay. Well,
And
okay.
by the way, let me
Yeah.
actually, I think it would make sense for you to share first, and then I'll
Okay.
share. Yeah.
That we don't know about the time, or?
No.
okay.
The time is accurate.
Okay, good. Let's make sure the date and everything is accurate.
September 10, 1990, guys. What a day. What a
What
day.
a day. This being came to Earth.
Well, it's good to know that I'm a male and that they're not confused about the genders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good to know.
How long does it take for you to do one of those?
Oh, to pull it up?
Yeah.
Oh, you just type it into a computer program.
Yeah, but then you do. It looks like you did some stuff on there, or no? That's all the program.
This is the program.
But like
Yeah.
all the colors. And
Oh, yeah, this is the program.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't sit there and color
You
at
didn't
all.
do anything?
No, I didn't color this.
You didn't do anything.
No, I didn't do anything.
Oh,
This is
wow.
the program. Yeah.
That's fucking sick. Can anyone
Yeah.
get that program?
Yeah, actually, on my website, you can pull up your chart, but you don't know if you don't know how to read it. You don't know how to read
Of
it.
course.
So yeah, this is where it dives in. Okay, I mean, there's so many things here, but I looked at some of your cycles. We already did your chart, but I looked at your Juno. I was actually curious about that, but relationships. So you're moving towards relationships. I think we talked about that last time. We could talk about relationships here. I have questions for you.
Okay.
But what do you want to talk about? What do you want to know? Because there's so many things. Right
Okay. All right. So I'll give you a little sneak peek of where I'm at currently.
Yeah.
So I've been navigating. I've been going through a very frustrating period with my business, where I feel like, and just on a macro level, I feel like I'm squandering so much of my God-given potential.
Yeah.
I know other people from the outside, they're like, oh, bro, you're doing amazing. You're crushing it.
Yeah.
But like, I know what I'm capable of doing in this life.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not even scratching the surface right now. So that causes me a lot of pain and frustration, because I feel like I'm squandering some of my gifts. And I
What
know
are your gifts that you think you are?
my greatest gifts are honestly facilitating human connection, like making people feel seen, empowering people to be the best version of themselves, just like really showing up in that way. Like, there's very few people that can facilitate and like energize people like I do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just not doing it as much as I should be. And I don't like using the word should, I understand, but made some positive strides. I just feel like there's certain parts of me where I feel like I should be further along.
Do you think that's your ego, or do you think that you're exactly where you need to be on this journey?
So I'm really in a process now of, so a big thing with Kabbalah is having full certainty in the Creator. So I'm doing my best to operate with that.
But then you don't have the
frequency.
certainty if you're thinking you should be somewhere else.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
so that's why I'm saying I'm trying to.
Full body chills.
Yeah. So there's that.
But I
and
get
then,
it. You're human. We're all human. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll
I get
start
it.
there.
Okay.
I'll start there.
Okay, I have to pull up my phone because I have all the notes for you about the timing and the dates and everything.
Okay.
You have your own section. Here we go.
Ooh.
Okay.
Danielle Paige.
All right. Okay, so I do want to say this. The last eclipse, 23. Okay. So the last eclipse, we just had two, one on March 14th and one on March 29th. Eclipses are huge. Like it was rocking everyone. The one at 23 degrees of Virgo hit your sun sign. Now, your sun is at 17 degrees of Virgo. Some astrologers say it's too wide of an orb. I don't believe that because when I first started astrology, listening to all the astrologers, and they're like, it needs to be a tight orb, like meaning it needs to be like 21 or 22 or 23 degrees. And what I've seen over the years, I've been doing this 16 years, I've had things that are like 8 degrees and I got blasted open. So I'm like, nope, you're with an orb. So here's the thing. When an eclipse hits your sun, this year is huge for you. So this year, you just started this journey. Since March 14th, you entered a new portal for your journey, your next
Really?
level. So it's a big year for you. You're going to be in the spotlight. You're going to be seen. You're going to be shining. It's like, how do you step into your light in the world? Okay?
And
so you're
how
on
long
this
will
path.
that last?
Well, this is a whole year for you. Definitely the next 6 months, but because it hit your sun sign, I say it's the next year.
Okay.
So it is like your light is going to get bigger. But if you want your light to get bigger, you have to really trust that you're exactly where you need to be. My house just burned down. I don't want to be in Florida, but I'm in Florida. I'm at my parents' house. I'm 46 years old living with my parents, not because I don't have money, but because, and I'm like, it's exactly where I need to be. It's exactly where, and that's why I don't hide it that I'm living with my parents. No, I'm living with my parents at 46 years old.
It
So-
really is also going to require me to expand my vessel so I can receive all that light.
Right. And you have to make sure that, not you in general, but also everyone, we're not perfect. And it's not about being perfect, okay? Because we're human and we learn and we grow, but like actions and alignment, super important.
Yeah.
Because that changes everything. Okay. So this year was big for you with the eclipse. So, because it doesn't hit everyone's sun. So
And
it's
that
big.
just started, you said
Yeah,
March 29th?
March 14th.
March 14th, okay.
Yeah, it hit your sun.
Would that explain why I feel like, don't get me wrong, I've navigated challenges. I feel like the last year I've kind of gone in and out of feeling like this. It's been a little worse, or I don't want to say worse, but a little more challenging some days.
The last year.
No, like the last couple weeks.
Oh, absolutely. I warn people a month before eclipses start, we're entering a portal. It's crazy during eclipse season. Everyone, their shit comes up, they're crying, they're breaking up, they're getting back together, they're losing a job, they're this, and it's Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. So it's just, there's a lot. Absolutely. Did you see the meme I posted where it's like we're on the ground and the guides are like, are you okay? And it's like, bitch, wait, like, bitch, are you okay? Like, we're dead at this point. Yeah, because that's the journey. Like, that's what eclipses do. Eclipses go in, and whatever happens during eclipse season moves you to your next level. It doesn't matter if your human part of you wanted it. It moves you to your next level of your soul journey, right? And that means people break up a lot. And then also people get married during eclipses. Like major life events happen and then move you to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's encouraging.
Yeah, so absolutely. We're coming out of it. Mercury is going direct on Monday. So we're going to start coming out of it. And then the following week, Venus goes direct. So it's going to start at least the confusion and the feeling like you're getting ripped open. That's going to feel a little bit better. Yeah, we've been in it. We've been in it. Okay, so that's happening now for you. So it's interesting. Pluto, we'll talk about your career because I have something there for you. Transiting Pluto is coming up. It's in your 7th house of relationships, okay? So this is having you see what has been working in the past, what's not working, what do I want, what do I need to transform, how do I need to clear out this old behaviors to step into what I want. Now, you also have your North Node in the 7th house of relationships. The North Node, you might know that from what you're learning, that's what we're moving into. That's our, I don't want to say fate, but that's our divinity. That's what our soul came here to learn and grow, and our path, okay? So you are learning relationships. You're stepping into that, learning how to be a balanced, equal partner. And then Pluto is going to come around and hit that. Now, it's getting close. So this is next year, but I want to bring it up because this is a major transformation. When you have Pluto hitting your North Node, I mean, if you think you've gone through awakenings before, this is going to be another awakening because it's going to bring you on your path of what you need to be doing. So I love this, like, you're very good with a community and bringing people together. And like the 7th house is romantic relationships, but it's also other people. So it's like you're connecting, right? So it's going to start hitting, it gets close next spring. And then spring of 2027, it conjuncts your North Node. So I know that's far, but I just want to throw that out here because you're definitely going to be calling me around this time and being like, what the fuck's going on? Because Pluto packs a punch. Okay, it literally goes in and rips things out. And so it's going to put you on your path. Okay, so going back to what you said, you feel like you should be doing more. I love astrology because it shows us exactly where we need to be. So you think, your ego thinks you need to be doing more. And sure, there's things you can do, but there is a timing for everything, right? I had my awakening when I had my awakening. It wasn't going to happen before. It wasn't going to happen later, right? This is we have many awakenings through our life. So that's going to be real big for you. Okay, so let's get to stuff that's happening now. Uranus. Transiting Uranus is...
Why don't you say Uranus?
Oh, no, it's Uranus.
Isn't it Uranus?
No, that's like the kid stuff, and they're like, Uranus is showing.
But isn't it... But wait, isn't it actually spelled like Uranus, like Uranus?
Uranus.
Is it actually...
I believe it's Uranus. Uranus. I don't think it's Uranus. Listen, if I'm wrong, please, you can give me the evidence to show me. Okay, Uranus. Uranus is coming around to...
That's interesting, too, because you have such a beautiful ass.
Oh, my God.
So Uranus, maybe like there's some hesitation about saying it.
Did you just really say that on?
Sorry.
That's amazing that you just said that on camera. Okay.
We're not taking that out either.
I know you. You're not taking that out. Oh, my God.
Okay. Anyways, continue.
Okay. So we're going to go on to Uranus.
Uranus.
Uranus is conjunct your moon.
Okay.
Yeah, in your 10th house. Okay, so let's talk about this.
I'm ready.
Okay, the 10th house is about your career.
Okay.
You said stuff about career. So let me just go to my notes here when it hits.
Give me some good news.
Well, it's going to shake you. So Uranus is different than Pluto. Pluto comes in and just pulls out shit and rips shit out, right? Uranus comes in like an earthquake in California. You never know when it's going to happen, but you know there's going to be an earthquake, okay? So Uranus comes in and shakes shit up. Now, it's going to hit your moon. Let's see. In June to July of this year, okay? And I'm going to give you some dates and I'll tell you. And then in November, it hits it again, it retrogrades. And then April 2026, it hits the last time. Okay, so a couple things. It's in your 10th house, so I know that there's going to be some kind of career change. Not like all of a sudden you're going to become a dentist. It's not like that. Everyone, he's a gynecologist now. Would you go to him?
Let me just give you a little yoni massage, okay?
Oh my God.
By the way, sorry to interject, but like the spiritual guys that are apparently experts in giving yoni massages.
I've never heard of this.
You haven't?
No,
oh my
thank
God.
God.
I've met like 3 of them. It was so disturbing. I was at like this festival.
Oh, I haven't heard of this.
And I went there with a girl that I was seeing.
Yeah.
And this dude that we met.
Oh my God.
Fucking weirdo. He literally
God.
asked me permission to give my girl a yoni massage.
No.
Yeah. And I was like,
Oh my God.
bruh, are you fucking serious right now?
Oh my God.
And he's like, well, I wanted to ask your permission before I asked her. And I was like, dog, you're not going to ask the girl that I'm seeing to massage her pussy. Like, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. That is not cool. By the way, this actually reminds me of this post I just made this last week. Have you seen this shit? The hot wife thing?
Yeah, I saw
Oh
that.
my God.
Yeah.
What is fucking happening in the world? This is so, honestly.
This goes back to your Juno, which we could talk about. Your Juno's in Scorpio, so you are like absolutely fucking not. Like it's loyalty, it's intimacy, it's one-on-one, it's deep connection, which
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, I'll throw it back to you, but sorry. This whole idea, I saw this like post, this article about hot wifing, how it's becoming this new trend with married couples. And I was like, what the fuck is hot wifing? So I asked ChatGPT and it's like, yeah, hot wifing is when the man openly allows and encourages his wife to sleep with other men while he maintains no other sexual relations.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is actually saving relationships? A
No.
dude just letting his wife sleep with strange dudes?
I mean,
like,
you see what happens. They usually break up afterwards. Like I've watched it with everyone.
yeah, like hot wifing, bro, like that's some soft ass beta shit from dudes. Like that just shows me, honestly, how bad of a place the masculine is, where the thing that we're doing to save a marriage is letting our wife fuck a bunch of other dudes. Come on. We got to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm done with hot wifing.
I'm
Wow.
glad to hear that you're done with hot wifing.
Yeah, I never was about that life, but anyways, continue. You have valuable information to share. I'm ready to receive it. Let's go, baby.
Okay. Where was I? Okay, so Uranus is coming to your moon on around June 2025 to July. First of all, either people move or they're out of their house or something happens with your house. Usually, I see that all the time, okay? I don't know if you're planning on traveling at the time. Usually, like we're never usually just like home when Uranus hits the moon. Something either like a flood, renovation, you're traveling, you're not home, you're going to place, okay? So that's what's happening. On the spiritual level, it's interrupting your behavioral programs. You're seeing what patterns need to change, okay, what needs to go. So you're probably most likely going to be traveling then. Also, unless you're moving. You're planning on moving?
I'm going to be in Israel all summer.
Yeah, so there you are. The other thing is it's in your house of career. So I'm actually really curious. And the thing with Uranus is I can't predict. I don't know what's going to happen with Uranus because I don't know how it's going to play out. But I do know that there's a shakeup. Like you might get a new, I don't know, some client or someone calls you or you like lose something. If something is going to happen, that's a shakeup. But whatever happens, you got to trust that this is for your path because it clears things out. So
Okay.
I'd be curious around June, July. Also, it could be May because sometimes the energy comes in a month before. So May, June, July. Now, your moon is connected to your 12th house, which is your subconscious. So just so you know, there could be like old stuff from the past coming up that you need to like work through.
Okay.
None of it's bad. It's just stuff, you know? It's just stuff. Let's see. So that's that in terms of career. But in terms of, I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about.
No, that's all really valuable. We don't
Yeah.
have to go super.
Yeah, because there's so many things.
I think, honestly, this is so important, too, because we were talking about, like, blood work earlier. I think you mentioned something about blood work. You can have your blood work drawn, right?
Yeah.
Take it to a normal Western medicine doctor and be told, oh, you need to take this statin because your cholesterol's high.
Yeah.
Which is absolute nonsense, absolute bullshit. Most of the time, a statin's completely unnecessary, and it's actually driving much more disease and illness throughout the body, right? But if you put that same blood test into an AI software that is trained as like a holistic practitioner, it'll actually give you completely different data, and it'll give you completely different information. Like, hey, no, you actually need to start supplementing with this vitamin because you're nutrient deficient or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see where medicine is going now. I almost think in the next 5 to 10 years, like 60 to 70% of medical doctors in America will be eliminated. Meaning like,
Well, that could be a really good thing.
meaning like they
On so many
won't
levels.
be the primary final say.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like consulting and confirming that the software is giving out good information. But again, it all comes back to the medical system and like how expensive medical school is.
Yeah.
250 to 500K. And then these kids are massively in debt. And then they're basically forced to be indoctrinated in the medical system for the next 4 decades. And Jason was talking about this, how like all the research for cancer is complete bullshit. It's like billions of dollars of research
Yes.
every year goes towards
Yep.
what? Like radiation,
Uh-huh.
chemo. When
Yep.
in reality, they
Yep.
know what the solution is.
They already know, absolutely. And they know.
And the reason why they don't want to bring the real healing modalities for cancer patients is because cancer is a massively profitable
course.
business in America.
Of
It's
course.
250 to 500K per cancer patient.
Yeah.
So think about if you actually offered the real solution that's going to heal these people. You're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars that are going to be lost
Yeah.
from big pharma and healthcare companies.
Yeah.
And that's a real problem.
It's a real problem, and people don't see that.
It's
And
fucked up.
Yeah, and they don't care who dies. They don't care. They don't care.
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
So I saw you did like a birth chart thing for MLK on MLK Day. Do you oftentimes do this, like for influential figures? Like I'm sure you've done it.
Sometimes. I mean, I probably should be doing it more because people are interested in that, but I just had that one, so.
I think
yeah.
I actually think it would be a really cool series for you to do.
Yeah,
Like
it
I
would
would
be.
love to know Elon Musk's.
Oh, yeah. So when I'm in my astrology mystery school, when I'm teaching, I always have examples. So people in my astrology mystery schools, levels 1, 2, and 3, they know we've done Elon, we've done Kanye's chart, we've done Bill Gates' chart, we do Britney Spears, we do Trump, we do Biden, like we do all that stuff. So yeah, I just don't do it. I do a lot of things. Like I have so much going on besides Instagram, you know. But it would be good for Instagram. You're right.
I think
It's
it would
good
be a
thing.
great series.
Yeah, it would be. Okay, we'll call it.
I
We'll name it.
To be honest, I
Yeah.
think those videos have the potential to like really go viral.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you just pick like, and it's interesting to know like, because I want to know, do I have similar?
Yeah, actually,
charts
that's
to
great.
Elon?
So I'm so used to it because I look at these charts all the time, but I forget that like, oh yeah, it's new. You're right. Like let's pull up Elon Musk's chart and do it
'Cause-
because it's so controversial. Because like every liberal like loved him, and now every liberal hates him. So it's like it's
Oh my
like
God.
they have to burn his cars right now. So it's just it's amazing to see how polarized people are about everything.
Well, and it's just
Yeah.
it goes back to the original one of the things we were talking about, how like spirituality is really being able to be authentically yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you think about the most hated people in the world right now, Donald Trump,
Are the people doing big things?
Elon Musk,
Yeah.
RFK.
I mean, Gavin Newsom too.
Yeah, thank
He's hated
God.
in California, but not in the
Thank-
world. They don't know him.
But you see what Gavin Newsom's doing.
Oh yeah, with the podcast.
You see how
As if there's
sneaky
not
he's-
important things to do, and now he's being neutral with his. I
Exactly.
mean, oh my God.
It's so slimy and
It's
sneaky
so
what he's
obvious.
doing. He's bringing like Charlie Kirk on, who's on the
Yes,
right.
yes.
And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like trying to say, oh yeah, you're right. Like, men competing in women's sports is actually unfair.
Because California is starting to flip because people are seeing what's going on because it's crazy. Again, I'm not like you have to be this or you have to be that. That's still polarizing. But the way it's going now is not it. And
Well,
we've
it's
been
also-
saying that for a long time.
It's really, one of the things that's really interesting is that I know for the first 30 years of my life, I hated politics
Yeah.
and I stayed as far away from it as possible. My parents would watch things sometimes when I was younger and I would just be like,
How are
I'm
your
going to
parents?
the
You
other
always
room.
talk about it. How are they doing?
They're doing well.
Oh, good, yeah.
I mean, I don't see them often enough. And it's interesting. It's almost like a role reversal because I feel like in most situations, the parents would be like, yo, like we want to come see you next month. Can we come? Like, it's almost me having to initiate.
Yeah.
Because like they're very comfortable with their lifestyle.
Yeah.
I was there like maybe a month and a half ago. They're coming to visit next month before I go to Israel, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, your parents have been together, what, 50 something years?
Oh my God, yeah, like almost like 60 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents have been together, I think 47.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's wild. You don't see it often.
Yeah, you know.
But
Sorry, the politics, I interrupted you.
yeah. But I feel like we've been forced to actually care
Yeah.
about politics.
Yeah, because it's infiltrating everything, and it's like we're seeing how corrupt it was. So it's almost like it's not everyone needs to use their Instagram for politics, but it affects us. It's so clear now. It's so obvious that we have to
Yeah.
know things that, listen, I'm uninterested. I would rather talk to dead people and aliens. Do you know what I'm saying? But now I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell you since 2020 what's going on, and you could yell at me, and now people are like, oh, you were right. Okay, yeah, because I see it.
Well, when you have things that are so instrumental from a policy perspective,
Yeah.
with some of the stuff that RFK is doing, I mean, already the stuff that Trump has
Yeah.
done within his first 100 days of office,
Yeah.
that's stuff that impacts our health, our food supply, our everyday life, the
Yeah.
price of eggs, the availability of eggs, like everything is impacting us, right? So it's actually important to kind of just be conscious and aware.
Right.
But I think what you were saying is a perfect demonstration of how far woke the left went
Yeah.
with all of the bashing of Elon Musk.
I mean, it's just that it's going to be something else. It's getting really polarizing. Like it's getting so extreme that it's unhealthy. And so I don't know who, but a lot of people are saying this. They're like, I didn't leave the Liberal Party, the Liberal Party left me, right? And it's so true. It's getting so extreme that it's so Marxist right now. It's not even the liberal policies that people believed in. I've been a liberal my whole life, and I'm like, what is going on now? This is not liberal. This is insane, you know? And now I'm just like,
people just want
I just want
normalcy.
truth. I just want truth.
Especially
and
when you
sanity. Sanity.
I think it really became such a big issue too when it was like seeing
Well, it was 2020. That was like,
that, and also just the way they were attacking the youth.
oh, absolutely.
Like the way, like whether you're
California
a
is
parent,
really scary what they're doing with the kids there.
Oh my God. And again, it's like we just need to be alert and aware.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm glad you're in Florida. I feel like this is where you're supposed to be right now.
It's exactly where I'm supposed to be, whether I like it or not. So I don't hate it. I'm just like, I was living my life, you know? I was doing my thing.
I'm really grateful for your contribution to the world. I think
Thank
you're a
you.
very, very, very valuable human right now, especially
you.
with all of the things that are shifting and all of the challenges that you've navigated personally and how you've been able to really turn these obstacles into opportunities. And then not only that, but sharing them as they're going on with the intention of helping others navigate their own unique human experience. So I want to wrap up and conclude by just like acknowledging you and also giving you the opportunity to share anything that might be on your heart that we didn't cover. Ask me anything, whatever's on your mind.
Ask you anything. So welcome
can.
to my podcast. I have to drill you here. I'm going to ask you a couple questions.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Okay, so
have a little
talk
sip.
to me about, no, I'm just kidding. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I just share, a lot of people are like, that's so brave of you. And people were saying that about the hostages too when I was sharing about the hostages. Is it brave? Why should it be? Is it brave or just it's truth? And that's the thing is, I don't think I'm being so brave. I think I'm just so in touch with myself and in tune that like I'm just sharing my path. And hey, if you don't like it, it's okay. And if you do, I would love to have you around. But you don't have to be here. So we are at a really pivotal time in humanity where it is getting so obvious and so clear. And I don't mean to say like I'm enlightened. I'm not. Every day I've learned something new and I still have a lot to go. But if you are not doing work on yourself, it is getting projected into online, into the hate, into the trolls, and so it's very clear. So I don't really care. You don't care what trolls say either. It's because I actually feel bad for a lot of them. So we're at this time where the more people are screaming like crazy things, the more pain I know they're in. Right. And so I hope and I pray and I can continue sharing my truth and my light. All we can do is be a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not. I'm not coming in to save you. I'm moving forward. I'm doing my thing. I would love for you to join.
Yeah.
Because we're all walking together. We're all walking each other home at this end of the day. And some people, your home might be over there then because it's not in my direction, but that's okay. You know?
You saw that comment I responded to.
Oh,
on
that was
post.
so funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just funny. Like,
no, I like how you did. It's funny. Your comment was.
Yeah, you always just like. I realize that humor is just sometimes the best response. This person commented on that post that you made yesterday, and it's like, yeah, it seems like that guy is really. What did it say?
He's ready to smash or something.
Yeah. It looks like his whole intention is just to like.
But we got a lot of comments like that when we did our podcast last time. We got a lot of comments.
It was mostly from your people, I think.
Yeah, but
they're freaks.
They see stuff. And they were all saying stuff. Like I was like, okay. I mean,
I was just trying to talk about Uranus. I'm innocent. I'm innocent over
innocent
here.
bystander.
I'm just chilling, drinking some watermelon water, talking about Uranus. No.
Well, I'm glad we reconnected again.
Yes.
Because we sort of lost touch. Like I was there, and we lost touch.
Are you hungry?
So I'm so hungry.
We should go across.
I'm a Taurus. I'm always hungry.
Really? I didn't know that about
Taurus.
Tauruses.
We love to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's grab food across. They have some good spots.
Clean, healthy?
Yes.
Okay.
Pasta.
Oh, I don't do pasta.
Meat.
Depending.
We'll find something. All right.
Depending. Maybe.
Danielle Paige, you are a legend. Guys,
Thank
make
you.
sure to check the link in the description to follow Danielle on all the socials. Also to join her membership. It's literally only $36 a month. And she provides so much value. And there's a massive community of like-minded, growth-oriented people who are also just on this journey of elevating their soul's purpose and connection. So make sure to check out those links. And yeah, this was so much fun. And I'm excited to see some of the comments we get.
Oh, it's going to be wild, I'm sure, like last time.
Let's fucking go. Much love, y'all. Peace. You did it. You made it to the end of the show. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, your support in listening to this podcast. And really, my mission here is to deliver the best conversations, the best people, so you can continue elevating and becoming the best version of yourself. And all that I ask in return is that you actually take action on the things that we talk about in these conversations, whether it's certain habits to implement or certain thought patterns or belief systems that you want to reprogram and remove from your life. I just want to remind you that your life is your gift and you are the creator. You are the main character of your movie. So please, please take action on these things we discussed. And tag me on social media. Tag me on Instagram in your stories at Jeremy Awakens. Let me know what stood out the most to you. Let me know what were some powerful moments for you from this conversation. And finally, if you haven't already done so, it would mean the world if you left a review for the podcast. Word of mouth is our oxygen. This is what allows us to reach more people and impact more lives. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you next time.